It's the moment police confront a killer with his own DNA.
Honey, your DNA was in the crime scene. That's why,
We first brought you this story when Eugene Gligor was arrested for the brutal 2001 murder of his ex-girlfriend's mom, Leslie Preer, a case that stayed unsolved for 23 years. And now the interrogation video is out, and it is wild. I'm Amy, let's recap. Leslie Preer was a mom, a wife, and a beloved neighbor in an upscale part of Chevy Chase, Maryland. On May 2nd, 2001, she never showed up for work. Hours later, her husband Sandy walked into a nightmare. Blood in the foyer and Leslie upstairs, strangled and beaten to death. There were no signs of forced injury, nothing missing, and no suspects. Except Sandy. For years, even some family members thought maybe he did it, but their daughter Lauren never believed it. Turns out, the real killer was Lauren's high school boyfriend, her first serious love, Eugene Gligor. Now, by this point, they'd been broken up for years. So why would he come back and kill her mother? That's the mystery cops are still trying to solve. But what they do have is this.
how well did you know Lauren's mom? Was there ever any kind of a weird relationship between you two after Lauren?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I wasn't in touch, so I don't...
Okay. So you were never dating Lauren's mom or anything like that behind the scenes?
No.
Okay.
I wasn't ever in touch, that...
Okay.
At this point, he doesn't know what's coming. He's calm, confident, playing dumb. But watch how fast that changes.
From the crime scene, we have DNA from the person who was there when Leslie died. So there's Leslie's blood all over the place, obviously, but then there's also another DNA profile that was picked up from the crime scene.
Now the noose starts to tighten, and Eugene, he starts to squirm.
I feel a little bit trapped here,
Well, you're under arrest, so you should feel trapped. Okay?
Right, and so I think...
That's when the tone shifts. He's not in control anymore, and he knows it.
From the crime scene, the DNA that was taken, we actually have a sample of your DNA, and it was compared to the crime scene DNA, and it matched. So we know that you were there at the time when Leslie died.
But I never gave a sample of DNA.
That's correct. We obtained a sample from a discarded water bottle.
From here, it's panic, denial, backpedaling, and fake tears.
I don't know, I mean, I was in the house, but it was years before,
Correct.
When I dated her.
Correct.
I don't know. I wish I could tell you. I don't know. I don't understand. This is all very bewildering, very strange.
Detectives aren't buying it.
There's no tears coming out of your face.
I'm very dry right now.
You're dry?
I'm very dry. I'm parched. I'm dehydrated. You can
There's
probably
water.
see my eyes are bloodshot red because I'm just tired and drained. I don't know what's going on. You want me to drink water so I can tear? What
No,
the
I don't
fuck
want
is
you to
wrong
tear.
with you?
That's not a breakdown. That's a tactic, and it didn't work.
And I'm really at a loss, and I don't know, I don't have any recollection of being involved with any of this.
You keep saying you don't remember and you don't have any recollection.
Well,
but if somebody was
I mean,
not involved, it would be an adamant, I didn't do it.
I didn't do it. I definitely didn't do it. This is absolutely, this is,
Except he did do it. And for 23 years, Eugene Gligor hid in plain sight. By the time police caught up with him in 2024, he'd been married, divorced, was still living in the DC area. At one point, he worked for a home security company, and then he moved on to an executive role at a real estate tech firm. Meanwhile, his ex, Lauren, was living just over the river in Virginia, working as a catering director at a country club. She hadn't thought about Eugene in years. Not really. until police told her he was the man who killed her mother. Eugene grew up in the quiet, upscale neighborhood of Kenwood, Maryland, just a 10-minute walk away from the Preers. His parents were both accomplished. His dad was a tenured professor at the University of Maryland and ran his own consulting business. His mom worked at the World Bank before deciding to stay home and raise Eugene and his older brother. By the time he and Lauren got together in high school, his parents were in the middle of a messy divorce. Eugene's dad claimed his wife let the kids get away with everything, shoplifting, using drugs, even stealing money, saying it was all part of their growth experiences. But his mom flat out denied it. But that same year, Eugene was expelled from boarding school after just a couple of months. No details on why. But Lauren says the divorce took a toll. He started spending most of his time at her house. He came on family trips. He was there for game nights. He basically became part of the Preer family. Lauren's mom, Leslie, welcomed him in, but her dad, Sandy, he never bought it. He always said there's something off about that boy. Now, Lauren thought that was crazy. To her, Eugene was sweet, sensitive, the last guy you'd ever suspect. So when she heard police thought he might be the one who attacked a woman on the bike path between their houses, she wasn't having it. She and her best friend actually went down to the police station. This was in 1995, she thinks, to defend him. She remembers her friend pointing out how many boys at school looked just like Eugene. And in her eyes, there was no way he was capable of something like that. He was never charged. They dated for 5 years, even kept it going long distance when she left for college. Eventually, they broke up, and there was no drama, no fight. He was 18, she was 21, just two people going separate ways. They hadn't spoken in 2 years. And then, one random weekday morning in May of 2001, Eugene shows up at her parents' door. Somewhere between 7:45 a.m. when Sandy left for the office and 8:30 a.m. when Leslie would have had to catch the bus to work. He strangled her, then slammed her head into the floor again and again until she was dead. Then he carried her body upstairs and left her in the bathroom shower stall. At the time, DNA testing was still in its early stages. Investigators found genetic material under her fingernails, but it didn't tell them much, just that the killer was male. And no matches in the system, not to Sandy, not to anyone. So detectives did what they could. They built a list. Every man who knew her. Friends, neighbors, family. And yes, Eugene Gligor's name was on it. But here's the part that'll stop you cold. Somehow, Eugene slipped through the cracks. Despite being on the list, he was never questioned, never DNA tested, just overlooked. But looking back, you can see the signs. He was scared because when hundreds of friends and family showed up at Leslie's funeral, Eugene was nowhere to be seen. Instead, he packed a bag and drove clear across the country to Portland, Oregon. His friend says he only found out that Eugene was coming to visit while he was on his way. And even he thought it was strange. After all the time Eugene spent with the Preer family, holidays, dinners, vacations, why wouldn't he be at the funeral? His excuse? Too emotional. He told people too much pressure, but yeah, now that excuse sounds a lot more like guilt and, fear that he was going to be handcuffed at the funeral. Well, after the funeral, Eugene pretty much disappeared from the Preers' lives, but he didn't go into hiding. As the years passed, he got comfortable. He lived in New York for a while, and then he moved back to DC, got married, divorced, dated a lot. He built a life that looked picture perfect on the outside. Concerts, 5-star restaurants, museum tours, Europe. He played the part, polished, cultured, successful. And while he was living it up, Leslie's murder faded into the background. Just another cold case no one could solve. But in 2022, the case came roaring back. The DNA from that crime scene, still viable, and this time science had caught up. Undercover officers tracked Eugene to Dulles Airport and pulled off a bold move. They staged a fake security screening and handed him a bottle of water. He drank it, threw it away, and just like that, detectives had what they needed. His trash gave them his DNA. Genealogical tracing, the same technique used to catch the Golden State Killer, matched it to a distant relative in Romania. And then that traced them back to Eugene Gligor. He was arrested in 2024 and charged with first-degree murder. A year later, he took a plea deal, second-degree murder, to avoid life behind bars. But here's the thing that still haunts this case. Why did he do it? He's never given a motive. This case makes me absolutely crazy. Like, what? Why? So weird. He's scheduled to be sentenced on August 28th, and maybe then the Preer family and all of us will finally get some answers. But if you want to watch our original coverage of the case, make sure to check out that recap next. And if you like your true crime fast, gripping, and no fluff, hit that like button and share this with a friend. Chris and I are here 3 times a week with more crime in half the time. See you next time. Take care.